Hello there, my friends. So this is the deck that I played last week in my very first constructed deck tournament. So let's go through these cards and I'll show you what I was doing. I was playing Green Sabine. So if you don't know what that is, put it in the comments. I'll explain. I just want to go through and show you some of the highlights here. Basically, Sabine's aspect, right, is red and aggression and heroism. So red and gold, right? So you get to pick a base, and I picked the most popular base in the game, which is Energy Conversion Lab, green. The thing with Energy Conversion Lab is, though, you get an epic action, but you only get 25 points. So your enemy only has to hit you for 25 points in order to defeat you. All right, so let me tell you how I did in this deck. So I lost my first round, which was 3 games. We only played 2, I think. And it was a Vigilance deck. I was going against Vigilance Vader. So he was defeating my stuff. I attacked the first game. I think I got 18 or 19 points against him. And then he stabilized the board. I ran out of units. And he was able to counterattack me. The second one, I lost 2-1. I won 1 game and I lost the other 2. And the second one, I won 2 games out of 3. So I ended up winning 1 of the rounds of a 3-round game. So, but I won, 3 out of 9 games. So that's not terrible. This is a good deck, but I'm missing some parts that are key to what I've seen online. So like here in order of ranking, I've got Metal Ceremony for 0 cost. I didn't end up using that at all. Benthic 2 tubes I used a lot. Rebel Pathfinder I used, but he was somewhat ineffective because he has Saboteur, and I didn't need Saboteur, right? Heroic Sacrifice, I thought that would be cool. I think I might have used it once. Sabine's great, but she gets defeated right away because people know she's tough. This is a great card, but I only have 1 of them for a cause to believe in. K2, a great card because when he gets defeated, you can do 3 damage to the enemy base. But I only have 1 of those. And I actually got it that night. I was trading for a card. I forget what I traded for, something that I had an extra of. And Fighters for Freedom, they didn't stay on the board very long. Fleet Lieutenant was awesome. I will definitely keep that. Battlefield Marine was okay. Special Forces Soldier was okay. Alliance X-Wing didn't come into play much. Keep Fighting. I thought I was going to use this more than I did. Basically, you pay 2 to ready a unit with 3 or less power. I really did not use that. Open Fire, defeat, do 4 damage from your hand against a unit. I didn't do that because I'm Sabine, right? I'm hitting the base, hitting the base, hitting the base. That's my strategy. I'm not trying to defeat his units, trying to defeat the base. Now, fortunately, people didn't use a lot of Sentinel against me, but I did have Sentinels. I had Echo-based Defender in my hand. Wing Leader is a great card because you can give experience to another. So you try to give it to your leader, right? Sabine, when you flip her over. So hopefully you play Wing Leader because she comes out at 4 resources and this costs 3. And you can keep her on the board longer, although she just got killed almost immediately in all my games. Green Squad A-Wing. This was more effective than I thought it would be. Rebel Assault is awesome. You got to have Rebel Assault in this hand, is in my opinion. Bright Hope came out at one point. Dodonna was great. I played Dodonna. They attacked Dodonna right away because it gives all my Rebel units a buff. This Guerrilla Attack Pod almost never came out. And when it did come out ready, the game was pretty much over one way or the other, right? So that's what I had in my hand, right? I am inexperienced. So this is for people who may also be inexperienced. I had to have at least 50 cards in my hand, right? I ended up doing 51 because I was doing, or 52 because I was doing groups of 3. And then, or was it? Yeah, that's right. Anyway, 51 or 52, I forget. But then we were allowed to have 10 cards on the sideboard. And I mixed them all together accidentally at the beginning. So I just ended up playing a 62 card hand, which is not the most ideal, I found out, especially if you're trying to synergize cards. Like I said, Wing Leader, you want to come up more often because you want that in your hand when you play Sabine. for instance. Some things like that. Fleet Lieutenant, you want to come up often. Rebel Assault, you want to have come up often. All right, so how am I going to... that's what I played. So how am I going to change this, right? Well, I don't have any more K2s. I want those. I don't have any of the Red 3s, which are great space units, which also buff all your Rebel units. So, or Rebel vehicle units, I think it is. But either way, it's a really good card that's kind of essential for this deck, and I don't have any of those. I could trade away to Vader to get 3 of those, but I don't, and some other stuff too. But I don't know that I want to do that. But the first thing I can do, right, which is really simple, is I can take Energy Conversion Lab, right, and I can just take this out and replace it with Echo Base. Because one of the games that I lost against the Vigilance Vader deck, the blue deck, where the game went longer, but he was able to like take me out in one round where I would have been able to survive one more round if I had 5 more points. And I almost never used this ambush for 6 because you got to pay the resource cost. So it has to come to 6 resources. By then the game, if you're playing Green Sabine, the game should be almost over. So you could use this as the kill shot, but it's probably not necessary, I don't think. So I think this week I'm going to play Echo Base. And I found out, I brought both of these with me, but I found out that in between games and rounds, this is what they told me. You're not allowed to switch your base, even if it's the same aspect color. Now that sounds wrong to me. Am I wrong about that? Like, somebody tell me if that's an official rule, because that sounds like, I don't know. Sometimes I think these guys are making up rules. But anyway, that's because I'm new and that's just the way I think. But like, I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like, anyway, weird about it. So I'm going to use Echo Base this time. I'm going to play the same Green Sabine, but I'm going to put away my Conversion Lab and save that for something else. Also, I'm looking at these. I never used Metal Ceremony because my guys didn't stay on the board that long. So if I didn't have 3 Rebel units that I could like buff this way. So I'm thinking about taking these 3 out. And I'm thinking about taking out Open Fire, even though this is a great thing to be able to do, especially if you have control. But like, I'm going after like just hitting the base. So I'm not trying to hit units. So I think I might take these out. Also, I'm thinking about taking out Keep Fighting. I'm thinking about taking out U-Wing Reinforcement. This is a great card, but we almost never get to 7. And if I get to 7, I've probably lost the game already. I'm not getting to 8. So I think these are like either sideboard or I'm not going to bring them at all. So that frees up 12 different cards that I could play. And actually, I might even do the Guerrilla Attack Pod too, right? Because that's 6, and by then the game should be over anyway. And this comes out ready, but then it doesn't, you can't, it's not ambush. I might keep this. So let's say 12. All right, so what am I looking at here? So what I'm looking at are, I want the games, a couple games I lost, I didn't have enough units, right? So I'm looking at unit cards that cost 1 or 2 or maybe, no, 1 or 2. So these are heroism cards, and that's important because Rebel Assault allows me to attack with Rebel units. So I want Rebel cards. Also, Wing Leader allows me to buff Rebel units. So I want Rebel units, right? So I think what I need to do is focus on these Rebel units first. So the Rebel units I've got Alliance Dispatcher, right? And this is a nice card because it says here, action, play a unit from your hand and it costs 1 less. So when this is on the board, I think I play a unit from my hand, it costs 1 less, I think. It doesn't say when played, it just says action. So I can have this on the board, not attack with it, use this action to play a different card. So that's kind of cool. 3PO, he comes out, and he's got 4 defense. So he's not going to get knocked off the board very quickly. So that's kind of cool. I'm thinking R2-D2. Where's R2? But I only have a couple R2s. Oh, here he is. So here I only have 2 C3PO cards. I have 2 R2-D2 cards. And R2 is another 1/4. So he's going to stay on the board for a lot. And you get to look at the next card on your deck and either put it on the bottom or the top. So that's pretty cool. So I think there's 7 right there. And then Mon Mothma. You can search your deck for a Rebel card, reveal it, and draw it. So this is pretty powerful. So I think I might do that. So that's 9. There's only 2 of these here, so that's 9. And then I get 3 more if I'm doing 12. And Colonel Yularen, it says when you play a command unit, including this one, heal damage from your base. So that's pretty cool. So that's 12. Now, I could use these aggression cards, right? So what I could do is do Cantina Braggart, but he has no hits, but he has raid 2, so he would hit for 2. I could do Jedha Agitator, who has Saboteur. I could do Partisan Insurgent, but none of them are rebels. I don't like that. Infiltrator skill is a buff. I don't think I'm going to do that. Vanguard Infantry is cool, because when defeated, I can give experience token to somebody. So that might keep them on the board longer. And also, these space units might work. So one of my ideas is that there aren't that many space units, about a third as many space units in the game as there are land units. So if somebody blocks me on the ground with Sentinel, I can hit them from space. So what I was thinking was the Patrolling V-Wing. It says when played, I draw a card, so that's pretty much free play almost. And then this one, it says when you have initiative, this unit gains Restore 2. Now, while I'm playing Sabine and I'm going to be playing with a lot of small units, I'm probably not going to have initiative. But if it's towards the end of the game, I might take initiative at the end of the game in order to deal my damage at the end, like for the last round, right? So so this could come in handy. But these are not rebel units. And so I'm kind of on the fence about whether I want to put these in my deck, especially this 3, because I just don't think, I don't know. I'm not sure about these. So if anybody's out there and has any ideas about this, let me know, because I'm kind of not sure. So if I take those 12 out, I got 12 here, and they're basically a sideboard. Here's the other one that I was thinking about a lot, is this attack pattern delta, because even though it's a double aspect, which means that this would actually cost me 5 in this deck, I get to do 6 damage to their base at the very end of the, probably be at the very end of the game, which means basically at the end, well, let's say they take this one out, I'd still get 3 damage. At the end, if they're playing a base that costs 25, I only have to do 20, I get 3 extra damage. So it'd be basically like, if you count backwards, 22 damage. I could do that much damage in 5-6 turns. So I've been thinking about this a lot. Anyway, that gives me a lot to go on. When I decide the final deck, I'll show you guys. But that's what I'm thinking at this point. Sorry about that. And yeah, if you guys have any suggestions, let me know, because I'm new to this and I'm having fun, but it's a little confusing. So anyway, have a great day. May the Force be with you, and happy Star Wars week, everybody out there. I'll see you on May 4th. Subscribe for more. We got 13,500 viewers now. 13,510 subscribers as of right now. So be 13,511. I'll see you later. Take care.